second place is my first year seminar. So Yale has these things called first year seminars, and they are seminars that you can take only in your first year, so they're only for first year students, and they're very discussion based. My first year seminar was called PLSC 040. Obviously that means nothing. The title of the class was How to Read the News. So I know, very interesting, especially at a time like this. It was very interesting because of COVID and also because of the US election. So we did spend a lot of time, or quite a bit of time, talking about kind of the media coverage of the US election and how that was covered in the news. And I learned so much about US politics and how they work, and I know a lot more about how US politics work than about how Australian politics work, which is kind of concerning, but there you go. Okay, so why did I take this class? I took it because everyone, all of the like older students at Yale and my course advisor and everyone recommended that I should take, or they recommend to everyone that you should take a first year seminar. And I agree, I think first year seminars are great. I mean, you can only take them in your first year, so yeah. And I took this specific one, so you have to apply for first year seminars because there's limited spots available in each class. So you have to give like a list of your preferences, and you get like the highest preference that they can give you. You know, they try and get everyone as high as possible, but only having a certain number of people in the class. Anyway, I got my first preference, so this was my first preference, so I was happy with that. And I took it because it just sounded interesting to me, and I'm interested in kind of like media, and I'm not really sure news, but I'm more interested in, yeah, I'm kind of interested in, I don't know, anyway, whatever, I took it. So these classes happened twice every single week. They were on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11:35 a.m. till 12:50 p.m. So they were an hour and 15 minutes, and they were twice a week, and they were discussion-based seminars. So it's very discussion based. The professor is not speaking the whole time. The whole class is talking, discussing, having an intellectual discussion. And because they are so discussion based, they are not recorded. So discussion sections for all of my other classes for chemistry, discussion sections for chemistry, humanities 115, and then for economics, which I'll talk about in a minute, the lectures are recorded, the discussion sections are not recorded. And for PLSC 040, there were no discussion sections because it's a seminar. So the seminar, like basically the style of classes, maths was a bit different. But apart from that, you either have lectures and then discussion sections, or you just have seminars. So when you have lectures and discussion sections, the lectures are big with everyone who's in that course, and the discussion sections are very small with only a few people. With seminars, it's a small group and discussion based, but the small group is like, I think there was 14 people in my first year seminar. Anyway, because it's discussion based and it's a small class, it's not recorded because the whole purpose of it is it's not to learn content, it's just to have a discussion. And also, I suppose, because some people might not feel comfortable like fully engaging in the discussion if they knew it was being recorded. Oh no, it's starting to rain. Damn it. Damn it. I've been talking for so long. I have been talking for so long. Oh my gosh. No. We're gonna have to wait. We're gonna have to wait. Nah. Cut the cameras. Okay, so I've kind of like lost my train of thought now. But yeah, there were discussion-based seminars. They were not recorded. The professor was really, really nice. I really liked him. Again, he was really knowledgeable in his subject area. He used to be like a news media reporter, and he'd been like in the Middle East, and so he's really knowledgeable. Every time I talk, it's like every time I talk, they just start chirping. Anyway, he's really knowledgeable about a bunch of topics. He's very he's worldly. Does that make sense? Anyway, you know. Do you though? Probably not, whatever. We had weekly assignments for this class. They were called page 1 assignments, and basically, okay, so for this class, we all had to pick a topic that we would focus our attention on how the media covered. So for example, the topic that I picked was Australian politics, and I wasn't learning about Australian politics. I wasn't, going out and learning about it, I was looking at how the media covered Australian politics and looking at the media coverage of it and doing a very critical analysis of the media coverage of Australian politics and thinking about how I could improve it. And so our weekly page 1 assignments were due every single Tuesday before class. No, every single Thursday before class, and we would have to look for an article. He would give us a specific thing to look for within it was called our beat. So my beat was Australian politics, and he would give us each week a specific angle to look at media coverage for, and we would basically find an article. So I'd find an article that was written about Australian politics and published somewhere online, and I would then analyze it and talk about the problems with it and the biases within it and how I would improve it if I had my own media publication that was covering Australian politics. So that was really interesting. And then each Thursday in class we would discuss everyone's page 1 assignments, and so would each be given a chance to talk about what we discovered within the media coverage of our beat that week. And then for our Tuesday classes, so on Thursday he would give us a bunch of readings to do for our Tuesday classes, and we would do those readings, and then on Tuesday we would discuss the readings, and then on Tuesday he would give us our page 1 assignment, and we'd go and do our page 1 assignment, discuss it on Thursday, then on Thursday we'd do the readings, discuss them on Tuesday, etc, etc, etc. So that's kind of how the class worked. In terms of the course load, again, it was probably average. We did have an assignment every week and also readings every week, but it wasn't like with chemistry, maths and economics, you kind of had to be learning content. There wasn't content to learn. It was more it wasn't like content to learn and remember. It was more, I don't know how to describe it, but yeah. I feel like I'm doing a really bad job of this video. So anyway, I would say the load was pretty just average, pretty similar to maths, chemistry and economics. They all had a pretty similar load, which they kind of should, because they were all worth 1 credit, and how many credits something is worth technically should be an indicator of how much work it is, and the purposes of college education was half a credit, so it was therefore less work. So we had our weekly page 1 assignments due every single week, and then at the end of the semester we did not have an exam, but we did have a final paper. So most classes will either have an exam or they'll have a final paper, or if you're doing like a media class or something like I'm doing next semester, it's like a final project where you get to make a documentary. I am so excited for that class. Anyway, so yeah, basically either an exam or a final paper or a final project of some sort. So for this class it was a final paper, and we basically had to write a final paper on using all of the information and the articles that we'd read and gathered throughout that semester, and then being like, okay, what are the big problems with the coverage, with the media coverage of my beat, and if I had a media publication, what would it be called, and what would its aim be, what would its audience be, how would I improve upon the coverage of my beat, and how would I fix these problems within the media coverage of my beat. So that was the final paper. How many pages was it? I don't think it had a number of pages it should be. I think mine ended up being about 8 pages, and that was with double spaced. Or was it 10 pages? I don't know. So, did I like this class? Yes, I really enjoyed this class. I found it really interesting, and I learnt a lot just about I have a lot more general knowledge now, and I also learnt a lot about the media coverage of Australian politics, and it's really not very good, and I'm thinking of starting my own website about I'm thinking of, because in our final project, in our final essay, we had to come up with if we had a media publication for this beat topic, what would it be called and what would it be, and basically just explain what it would be and how it would cover the beat. And I'm thinking of turning mine into a reality, because the media coverage of Australian politics is really, if you compare it to places like the New York Times and the Washington Post, where they have really good, lengthy, beefy, full articles, the media coverage of Australian politics is so just very straight news, very reactive. It's just boring. There are very few longer interesting articles, and it's really hard to read them if you're politically uneducated, and you like myself. It's really hard because they don't really explain what's going on. They just throw in lots of quotes and statistics, and lots of the articles are literally just told all through quotes. It's all just direct quotations from politicians. It's not even an article, it's literally just, oh my goodness, yeah. So as you can tell, I've become very passionate about this, so look out for a website from me in the future on this topic. But yeah, so I learned a lot about my beat note, and I also learned quite a bit about other people's beat notes and about media coverage in general, and I learned a lot about US politics because lots of the readings we did were about the US political climate and the US election, because that was like a really big deal that was going on this semester. And yeah, so I learned a lot. I really enjoyed the class, and I liked how it was discussion based. I thought that was good. So yes, would I take this class again? Yes, I would, absolutely. I thought it was really good. What do I rate this class out of 10? I want to give it like a 7.5, maybe? A 7.5 out of 10. What? A 7.5 out of 10, maybe? Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. So, thumbs up. Okay, and now my last class, which is a good thing because the sun is about to set because I have been speaking for so long. So, the class in the #1 ranked position, the one I enjoyed the most this semester, was Econ 115 Economics. So this class is Introductory Microeconomics. It's like really big. There was like 460 people in it, I think. So it's a massive class. If you're going to major in economics at Yale, you will most likely take this class in your first semester at Yale. So I think economics is one of the biggest majors at Yale, so lots of people take this class, and it's not just for first years. Someone in any of their years at Yale could take this class, but if you're going to be an economics major, then you'd probably take it in your first year. The reason why I took this class was very similar to chemistry. I was possibly interested in majoring in economics, and I still am, so taking this class kind of confirmed that I am interested in economics, and I'm also pretty good at it. So yeah, that was the reason that I took this class. This is kind of where you start with economics at Yale. The classes, there was a lot. So there were 2 lectures every single week on Monday and Wednesday from 1:15 until 2:15 p.m. Then on Fridays, there was a Friday activity, and these were optional, but they went for an hour on Friday, and it was kind of like expanding on and thinking a little bit like out of the box of the content we'd learned that week. And then on Monday afternoons, there was also like it was called Ben's like activity, because Ben was one of the professors. There was 2 professors for this class, so it was really big. And he would go through one of the problems on the problem set that we had due every single week. So like maths and chemistry, there was a problem set due every single week on Wednesday. And so there was kind of like 4 things. Oh no, and then you also had your discussion section. So there was 5 things to go to every single week. So you had lecture on Monday, lecture on Wednesday, activity on Friday, and then problem set session on Monday, and then discussion section. All of these ones were recorded. Your discussion section was not recorded. My discussion section was on... It was on Thursday nights from 8 to 10 p.m, which when I was in Australia was 8 to 10. No, sorry. Thursday nights from 8 till 9 p.m, which when I was in Australia was Friday mornings from 8 till 9 a.m. What were the professors like? So, like I mentioned, there were 2 professors. Why did I do that? I don't know, that was weird. There were 2 professors for this class. Sometimes I forget what I'm saying. There were 2 professors for this class, and okay. They were pretty good. They were good at teaching. I enjoyed their teaching style. However, in all of my other classes at Yale, this is the one reason why I didn't like this class, and it was a really big reason why I didn't like this class. It still was my favorite class because I loved the content the most, but the biggest drawback about this class for me was the lack of support I felt. In all of my other classes, I felt so supported. There was like too much support. There was so much support in my other classes. In economics, it wasn't that there wasn't enough support systems in as in there was like so many hours, like the teaching fellows and the professors would have so many office hours every single week. If I ever had a question, I could go to one of those. I couldn't when I was in Australia because they were in the middle of my night, but I could when I was in America. Because this class was so big, when I was studying in Australia, there were a couple of things that happened that I needed to email the professors about, and I emailed them I think 3 times, and often I didn't receive a response. Oh, well no, twice I think I didn't receive a response from either of the professors. And then when I did email them, so when I was traveling from Australia to America, I had a lot to do. I had to get my visa, I had to pack, I had to leave, I had to say goodbye to friends and family, so I was very busy that week. So I emailed all of my professors saying, hey, I'm moving to the other side of the world, could I please have an extension on my problem sets? And all of my professors said, yes, of course, like, have an extension, you can have an extension. Most of them just gave me an extension for like 5 days or a whole week, which was lovely. That was perfect, that was all I needed. The economics professors just said no. They just said no, so yeah, that was lovely. And the other time that I felt really unsupported in this economics class was when I was in Australia, and one of the midterm exams was planned for 1 to 3 a.m. my time, and I emailed the professors and the course director and I said, oh no, I don't think I emailed the professors because they weren't in charge. Who did I email? I emailed like the course, so I talked to my discussion section teaching fellow first, and she said to email the course director, who is like in charge of organizing the exam. So I emailed the course director and I said, hey, look, I'm studying remotely from Australia because I can't get to America at the moment because of COVID and visa issues that are related to COVID, kind of like issues outside of my control. This exam is from 1 to 3 a.m. my time. I am not a night person. I'm gonna have a lot of difficulty concentrating at this time. These are my first lot of midterm exams at Yale, and you know, I'd like to do well, and I really I'm not gonna be at my optimal at 2 a.m. in the morning. Could I please sit the exam at a different time? I'm happy to sit it either before or after everyone else. I will sit it literally like whenever, but just not in the middle of my night. And when I emailed all of my other classes, like all of my other professors, to arrange a different time for my exam, they all arranged a different time for my midterm exam. They said, yeah, sure, let me know when would be a good time for you to sit the exam and we can have you sit the exam then. So I think my chemistry exam I sat from like 10 until 12 a.m, like as in 10 a.m. until 12 p.m. at my time. So that was 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. in America, and someone just sat with me on Zoom in America and watched me do it, but I was able to do it at a time that was more suitable for me, and the same with maths. But with economics, so I sent that email to the economics course director, and I got an email back saying, it was very short, it basically just said, hey, sorry, but the exam is at that time, so you have to sit it at that time. And I was quite disappointed with that response. I don't really think that's good enough in my opinion, just because in the circumstances of COVID, international students were told, if you come to Yale this semester, sorry, the camera just stopped recording. International students were told, when we were trying to make the decision if we took a gap year because of COVID or we started studying, we were told that if you start studying, and even if you start studying remotely, you will be really supported at Yale, and we will do everything we can to try and like accommodate your time zone. Please don't let kind of like time zone like issues that you think you might occur like impact your decision to come too much. Pretty much they were just saying they would be really supportive, and with most of my classes I absolutely 100% did find that they were so supportive, but with economics I found that they were quite inflexible and not that supportive in that regard. And I think it's probably partly to do with the fact that this is such a big class that they find it harder to make allowances for individual people, which I do understand to an extent, but I was disappointed with this response to the whole exam situation. So overall, I just felt a little bit of a lack of support in this class compared to my other classes. So that was the biggest reason why I didn't like this class. Yes, so anyway, I was talking about what were the professors like. So they were good at teaching, but I didn't feel like, I felt like in all of my other classes I kind of had a connection with my professors. My professors knew who I were. I felt like I could kind of like go to them for help at any stage, and I knew them, you know, and I really liked that. I really value having a relationship with my teachers. I valued that a lot at school, and I still do at college. In economics I just didn't have that relationship with them at all. And I didn't feel like they really wanted to have one with me. I'm not saying they're not nice people at all. I don't know, like I don't really know them. Like that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know them. I'm sure they're lovely people, but again, it's probably due to the fact that the class was so big. And I wouldn't let this factor deter you from taking this class at Yale. And I think I only had these problems because of COVID and because I was an international student studying with a 12-hour time difference. But I just, that was the downside to this class for me. So the course load was again pretty just average, pretty similar to most of my classes, and in terms of the content at the start was fairly straightforward because I had done atar economics and I'd done really well. That was my top subject in atar, so I had a good background understanding in economics, and then we kind of went through that very, very quickly and we started learning information that I had never learned before. And this course was designed for people who had never done economics before, so that's why I found the first little bit like fairly straightforward. So if you've never done economics before, this is like the place that you would start, and it would be fine, but you do go through things pretty quickly, and we got into content that I hadn't done before pretty quickly. But I didn't find the content too hard. I do think some things were hard and some things were kind of like conceptually challenging, and they take you a while to wrap your head around. And the biggest difference I found with the economics in this college class compared to the economics in high school in Australia was that in high school we did literally hardly any maths in economics, and in college there was so much maths in our economics, and I found the maths in the economics kind of harder to grasp just because I'd never really done it at high school. And I don't know why, because economics involves a lot of maths, so I'm not really sure why, but we just hadn't really done that much in high school, so that was like the hardest part of the course, I think, for me. But the content overall, it wasn't too bad. It was challenging, but it was definitely doable. So like I think I mentioned, we had problem sets due every single week on Wednesday, and then throughout the semester we had 2 midterm exams, and then at the end of the semester we had a final exam, and that was that. I enjoyed the content. I found it really interesting, and I think my brain grasps economics concepts fairly well. I think my brain is kind of suited to that kind of, sorry, it's really windy. So I enjoyed the content. I enjoyed the class, but again, I just had a little feeling of like lack of support, but I did really like the content, and it's made me feel like I want to continue pursuing economics at Yale. I'm not sure if it's what I want to major in, but I definitely did enjoy it. So I liked the class. I would definitely take it again, and out of 10, maybe I would rate it like either a 7.5 or an 8. Maybe a 7.5. Yeah, or maybe I would rank PLSC 040 like a 7.25 and economics a 7.5, maybe? Or is economics like a 7.75? I don't know, I'll think about it and I'll put whatever score it is on the screen. But yeah, economics was good, but it wasn't brilliant. So that was my course schedule for my first semester at Yale. I did not think this video was going to be so long. I apologize. I thought this was going to be like a 15-minute video, and I'm very glad because I almost just lumped this video in with the one that I'm going to film, like a reflection on my whole first semester at Yale. I was just going to talk about this in that video, but obviously it would have been like a whole movie if I'd done that. So wow. Good on you for getting to the end if you got here. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up because obviously you liked it enough to get to this point, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already, because I have so much content coming out about college. I have so much content already on there about college. So much good stuff, and this YouTube subscriber family is the best subscriber family on the whole of YouTube. We are so supportive and just really positive community. So make sure to join the community if you would like to by pressing that subscribe button and hitting the notification bell as well if you want to be notified when I upload a new video, because I'm uploading very, very frequently at the moment because I am on winter break for 6 weeks. Make sure to follow me on Instagram as well if you're not already, and you can also follow me on TikTok because I'm uploading quite a lot on both of those social media platforms. We're so close to Christmas. Is it Christmas? Wait, I don't know. I don't know when I'm uploading this, but we are very, very close. It's currently the 22nd of December when I'm filming this. So happy holidays, everyone. I hope you're having an amazing time and celebrating in a safe way with your family and whoever you're celebrating with. So yeah, happy holidays. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video.